Let's jam. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Hotel Dropouts. I'm joined by Bernard and Jamie, and we'll be talking about hypotheticals today. If you like listening to us, support us by checking out our Patreon, leaving a like on the video, commenting your opinions, and maybe even subscribing. So, Bernard, you are the head of hypotheticals. Bring us one, please.
I would get right into it. However, I would really like to ask about how your week was first, if that's all right.
Ooh, Dan wants to get down to business.
Yeah.
Let's get down to business.
No worries. I mean, we also do actually have a time limit because Dan has to go somewhere later.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So let's start with you first then. How was your week?
Well, I would say it was pretty regular. I finished one project, and yesterday was a nice day. We played some D&D with my friends, and after that, I went with a friend that I don't see that often. We kind of went and ate something, drank a little bit, talked, and walked around. So it was a good week.
That's nice. Just a question: do you play D&D in person or do you play it over like the computer?
In person.
Oh man, that's so cool. I wish I have a group of friends I can play D&D in person with too.
Maybe when we'll be all together, we can play one session or something like that.
A one shot sounds fun.
Yeah.
How many people play together?
5 of us plus the DM.
So 6.
Sorry.
Yeah. Man, that's so cool. Nice. How was your week, Jamie?
Well, I was gonna say D&D in costume sounds fun. It's like an excuse to dress up.
But we didn't have any costumes.
No, come on. It's not professional. My week has been hectic. I've just been moving. I got on the weirdest flight I've ever been on, and landing here has been like surprisingly the UK weather is nice, and Bernard's parents have been super accommodating, very nice. Yesterday, or I think it was the day before, we were supposed to make a trip to the city center to familiarize myself with it. I was thinking that going out with both, going out with your parents, I thought was going to be very chill. Little did I know that a trip to the city for me was in fact a Valheim session for them. They were playing
What?
they they were playing a survival game. First of all, I didn't know your parents could walk 10 kilometers in a day. Okay. I loved how your mum, when we go down a forest path towards the city and your mum's going really fast, right? She's got her yoga pants on, she's got her, full kind of hiking gear. And then she sees a plant, like she sees a tree with berries dangling off of it, and she was like, "Oh, what is this? Can we eat?" And then your dad was far in the back and he was like, "What?" And then your mum just picks up the fruit and then eat it. And then she had a bite and she was just like, "Oh, okay, it's nice. It's nice. That's it." And then as soon as your father catches up, I see that he's got a bunch of sticks on him. So he's been collecting sticks just along the way. And
Okay.
by the end of the trip, he had, I think, more than 5 sticks on him and a couple of scratches, and he was just bleeding. And then I thought,
What?
yeah, he had some scratches, so he was bleeding. So that trip truly made me feel like I'm from a strawberry uh, um, generation. I don't know if that's a phrase in English, but like in Chinese, we say that, oh, you're from the strawberry generation because you kids are weak, you bruise easily. Yeah, like strawberries. And so that was crazy. I I don't know how. Like, in a way, I got to know your parents, and it sounds weird, but it makes me appreciate you more as a person. I kind of know where and how you come from, you know?
Okay.
So
I mean, the apple doesn't fall far from the apple tree, no? So like, I mean,
you mean the apple tree isn't
I'm
too far from the apple? Like from my perspective, because I got to know you first.
The apple tree doesn't
I
fall
guess
so
so.
far from the apple.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That's also true in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really nice. I've forgotten how expensive things have gotten in the UK. It's kind of crazy. Like I imagine that's the case for.
Oh, wow.
What did you say?
A bottle of water.
Yeah, no, like, but I remembered you could get something. You could get like these sausage rolls. They call it like the kind of, it's hot dog meat wrapped inside a pastry. It's called a sausage roll. And I remembered you could get 6 of them for like £2 at one point, and now it's £4.
So they became heavier.
No, they got smaller. That's the thing. It's a combination of both.
So now they're 2 times more expensive, and even then they still had to make them lighter.
Yeah, people are struggling, man. Oh, but
I mean,
otherwise,
that's a lot of sausage rolls.
no. But
So that means one is like how much? Let me pull out my calculator. 4 divided by 6 is 66 cents, and infinite more sixes at the end. It's the devil sausage.
whoa, welcome to our math podcast. Yeah. Oh, I miss those YouTube channels where they do like these crazy math questions. I wonder if they move to podcasting.
You know, the thing is, I don't think the sausage roll will cost less here.
Yeah?
Yeah, 70 cents sounds about right. Although that's pound cents. How much is that in euros? 67. You can talk about something. Continue talking.
Continue, speak now.
Speak now.
Oh, but yeah, well, that's basically my week. How's your week been, Bernard?
Hey, it's been on the up and up, I must say. I until now, I've always been stuck in the office doing office work, which is a little
Boring.
boring. I mean, it's important work, but like I miss going out, and I'm able to start going out now, which is nice. And they opened the pool again, which is nice because it's really hot, and I like to go swimming. And it's pretty cheap here to go swimming, like a day pass. So I'm really happy for that. In fact, I think I might go swim today.
Right now. Goodbye, guys.
No. No.
You do the podcast in the pool.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting, but no, it's all right.
You need a waterproof everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to waterproof my laptop, my everything. And
You know, it would be cool to do a podcast where everyone is doing something that you wouldn't typically do while you're doing a podcast.
like one is on a hike.
Hike is even a bit too all right. I would say you are in this pool place. I could be bouldering. Jamie, what else? What could you do that would be kind of hard
Bicycling?
to combine?
No.
Bicycling. I mean, normally you don't usually do a podcast while you're on a bicycle.
I was thinking
Right?
a fun time to do a podcast would be if I'm in some kind of an Asian restaurant and I'm shouting in Asian, I'm berating my employees. I'm like, oh, get that, get
Oh, yeah. Kiểu này luôn.
chỗ này lỗ màu à. Like, I'm just shouting.
You won.
No, yeah, I'm just really angry, and then you do this instantaneous switch. And so I think yesterday was absolutely fabulous. You know, it's a contrast.
That would be great. And then
Oh.
somewhere in the middle of it, the real owner comes in and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Get out of my restaurant.
All right. Shall we get into our hypotheticals today?
All right. So I had this discussion with my previous team, and I think it's an interesting one. I already know my answer discussion already, so I think your answers would be interesting. So if one day the whole population of the world just suddenly turned into exact copies of you at the moment, so like a 1-year-old baby will turn into you, an 80 like the you right now, an 80-year-old lady will turn into the you right now, like just the whole world's population just turn into yous right now. That means there's gonna be some unfortunate accidents where like some people in
With birth process, somebody turns into a
yeah, basically. But the thing is, the lady giving birth is also gonna turn into you. So how the fuck is that gonna work? There's just gonna be some very unfortunate situations, like people who are diving, underwater, just turning into you. Does the equipment fit? Like, there's gonna be some, like, in the airplane,
That sounds brutal, Bernard.
Yeah.
Brutal.
It is. But imagine if one day the whole world's population suddenly turned into you's copy of you right now on the day of, how long do you think the human race, it would be just the copies of you, would survive? And how do you think what do you think would happen?
Wait. I have
my
a
God.
question. Like, when they turn into us, do they just physically turn into us, or do they retain their knowledge and memory?
They are exact copies of you, so that means physical and mental state.
Well, if it's in my case, the world's gonna fall apart really fast.
Yeah, but why? What do you think think is gonna happen? Just say it. Explain it.
A lot of plane crashes.
Yeah, like
Electricity is not going to last for long.
But yeah, what about running all the infrastructures, the power grid?
Exactly. Everything, all those things you have to think about. Agriculture, like science, the nuclear power plants, everything. You need to think about everything. What do you think is gonna happen? The sequence of events, Jamie. Let's go. Let's start with you, Jamie. What do you think?
With me? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, instantaneously, I would say, like, first of all, because I don't know how to fly a plane, I don't know how to drive, I don't know how to, steer a ship. So right off the bat, and even then, my driving is kind of subpar. So, so right off the bat, it's just gonna be traffic collisions. You'll see planes falling out of the sky. I think electricity-wise, like the power grid and everything, they can still sustain a little bit as you can put them on. Because it's you deal with them every now and then. You don't always operate them. So it's just going to be chaos, lots of fires, and then the firemen, the fire department would be called to put out the fire. But then, since all the firemen are me, I'm just perving and looking at hot guys. Oh wait, there are no hot guys. They're just everyone's just doing me. Oh, in that case, we're going to be very effective at work. We're going to get to work straight away. There's no distraction.
I keep thinking about that. I'm not going to have sex anymore.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's true. Can you imagine, like, you're in bed with your wife as this happens?
Oh no.
But is it
But
that?
I imagine that I thought also that people, it's like killing everyone actually, because everyone will cease to exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And only you will be left. But there's copies of you everywhere.
When this civilization falls apart and in some distant future the aliens will come and do the excavating, they'll be really surprised. They'll be like, what the fuck is happening here? Why is everyone the same exact copy?
Same genetic material, same like
Yeah.
bone structure,
I
everything.
don't know. It's kind of interesting. It reminds me of the you know, that episode from Rick and Morty. Rick had this girlfriend called Unity, and she's
Yeah.
basically
Oh yes.
like a
Yeah.
colonizing alien. It almost feels like that.
Hmm.
But they were all a bit different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she was just like a hive mind, but physically they were different.
Okay. Wait. So in this hypothetical situation, like, do you have you don't have dominance over these other people, right? They're just versions of you, but
No, they're just you. Yeah, you're not a hive mind. They're just more you.
oh my goodness, instant warfare, no? Instant warfare.
really,
Really? You would fight yourselves? You won't understand you?
I love that question.
English is not prepared for this.
You don't understand you.
But you say that then, but that's how they speak in northern England.
Really?
Yeah, and they keep talking themselves as us. You're trying to mess over us? You's gonna go to the town like that's what they call Geordie. Jamie is gonna have to learn it.
What the hell is Geordie? Oh, that's the name of the accent.
No, I'm okay. I've already I've had to dealt I have dealt with Geordies. Plus I was a fan of that TV show. What was it? It was,
Geordie Shore.
yeah, Geordie Shore. There we go.
Oh god.
So I got really
But yeah.
comfortable with that. And plus, I don't know if
Alright.
people know this, but the second season of White Lotus, you know, the very hot British guy, that's the guy from, I don't know if he was from Geordie or from Essex, but I feel like in Western media, like the Geordie accent, people from Essex, they get overrepresented because of the exoticness of their British accent.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh well, in any case. But
Seen
yeah,
the show.
but going back to the question, like I feel like, you know, because now Israel and Iran is getting on, and if they're all replaced with me, do I continue to fight? Because missiles have been
No.
fired.
I mean,
Oh,
the missiles have been fired. You can't stop that in its
No.
path.
Stop it.
But you will suddenly be the guy like behind like the control panel. Like do you still continue to press the button and stuff?
Press the buttons.
I don't know. If it was me, I'm very peace oriented. I would instantly stop because I know if I stop, they will stop too. Which is a principle that
That's what I mentioned.
it's a principle that that hasn't really served me well, you know, because I've always grown up with the idea that, oh, do unto others how you want them to treat you. So I often treat people nicely. And foolishly, I think
Regret.
And people just keep abusing
yeah,
you that.
they get on top of you.
Oh, Jamie.
Nah, that sounded sad, but
It
yeah.
is that.
You are says Jamie.
Thank you. I wonder what was wrong with me. Now I know. I'm sad.
You're welcome.
But
just stop being sad for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be happy.
You're welcome, Jamie.
wow.
Money, please. We are therapisting you.
Sure.
Did you? What is a therapist-ing? That sounded sexual, oddly.
Yeah.
Therapist-ing. Right. Well, what about you, Dan? If everybody became Dan.
All right. Well, for sure, all that infrastructure is going down sooner or later, because I can't imagine how I would run a nuclear power plant or even a coal power plant. I have no idea how it works. Hopefully, there's manuals around. I don't imagine we would fight. I feel like I would feel pretty safe in the sense of other Dans attacking me. It would be really sad. I guess we would get on making sure that sex doll manufacturing is working fine. That will be one of the top priority.
You know what? I just imagine like the instant that this thing happened when everybody got turned into Dan, and the first reaction all of you collectively have is that you're all bummed out. It's like, oh, no more sex for me. And then society ceases to operate, and then the Dan that's holding the button for nuclear strikes and nuclear bombs is just like, oh, what's the point? And then
Boop. And press the button. No, I don't think so. And what else? What else?
wait, can I interrupt? Like, is it so disgusting to have sex with yourself? Like, if you have a twin, like, imagine.
I mean, it's kind of just like masturbation, isn't it? But I
Yeah,
don't know.
Yeah, I would say yes.
because in the sense, right? I feel like
I have a question, a counter question. So for me, it's sorry for the word. I'm just using the word you use, disgusting, because it's me, and also it's also a male. So
Mm.
I
Yeah.
wonder, how does this work for you, Jamie?
Hmm. But you see, so that's the question, right? Like it's definitely it would be different to have sex with an identical copy of me versus other men, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. You tell me.
Of course it is. And then in the sense that right, you could approach this from like sibling incestuous relationships. Let's think like deep south of certain parts of the states, or uh I feel like I'm singling out United States, but incest happens everywhere. But imagine, like,
Yeah.
having relations with your other siblings.
Business.
Yeah, but having relations with your siblings versus having relations with your own twin brother, that also kind of feels different, no?
Yeah.
Like, morally, it feels less wrong, less wrong to F yourself.
I don't know, man.
By the way, I just feel like when I was a kid,
You made it sad.
no, when I was a kid, I was jealous of twins because I always thought it'd be funny if somebody tells me to go fuck myself. I was like, oh, but twins can.
That's what we do.
No,
We are ready.
okay, this is a bit of a tangent, but I was at one point really obsessed with this idea because of back in the day when Game of Thrones was a thing. Everybody's crazy about Cersei Lannister and Jaime Lannister. Um, because twincest as they call it, it could be between same gender, it could be between opposite. Sorry, it could be between the same sex or opposite sex. And there are actually some documentation uh on twins doing it, but not in a sexual way. Like they explain they explain it that it to them it's not really a sexual experience.
What? I
Yeah.
need you to elaborate because I have my brain not processed.
No. It's precisely like what you said. Some twins reportedly um, said that it felt more like masturbation than it is sex because of how I presume it's because for them it's how close they are together that it doesn't feel like sex in the sense that if you engage in intercourse with somebody, there's some level of connecting, there's some level of bonding. You're not just
Those
shoving.
devices ready to pair.
Yeah. And then but for these twins that they know each other so well, it felt more like just everyday masturbation business, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, and then there's even like a Reddit chat that, don't ask me how I know this, but their parents
How do
complaining.
you know this?
Yeah. How do you know this?
Don't ask. But there are Reddits for parents to complain about the weird stuff that their twins do. Everything from ranging from sharing articles of clothing to sometimes
Climbing on
sex.
the ceiling.
But I don't know. If I think about it, it's complex. What were we talking about?
We are
Hypothetical.
talking. How is it for you to have sex with the copies of you, since for me and Bernard, there's an additional layer of
They're both guys.
deterrence
Yeah.
in the gender part.
I should
But you
turn,
answered our question, I think.
but shouldn't I return you guys the same question? Because I feel like is it weird for you to are you grossed out by yourself sexually?
I mean, I touched
Yes.
myself, so I can't say that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Like-
is it gonna be so terrible because it's you? Like, is it gay if it's you?
I think my brain would go around making some mental gymnastics. And then it's okay, it's not gay. At some point, no, it's gonna be like, but the male G spot is like up my ass anyway, so like.
Yeah, why not? You may as well do it. You know, it's funny because this reminds me of a time when Dan said something uh unintentionally homophobic. It was funny because I remember you saying that. Yeah. I remember you saying, you were like, so how does this work? Do you just look in the mirror and you get turned on? So I return the question to you. Do you look in the mirror and you're just disgusted? You're like, ew, don't want to see that. That's super gay.
and punch the mirror.
Yeah. Shower with your clothes on like a real man.
But it's in a way, it's like that. I don't look at myself for pleasure. Usually, if I look at myself, it's in some
It's not
hygienic
like-
process,
Or inspection, like
because I have to see what I'm doing.
yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I feel like in a way it doesn't feel sexual to do stuff with yourself. I don't know. I guess if you think about it in the context of like imagining all these carbon copies of you as
What were you gonna say? All these
no, yeah, never mind. No, I'm just wondering, like, are these copies of you? Are they more like your twin brothers slash sisters, or are they like just?
I mean, let's be real. Like, you see them, and you spoke about this topic with me already right now, right? So okay, these are copies of me right now. So there's probably you're gonna have that moment of realization, that moment of clarity where you're like, oh fuck, this is that thing we talked about.
Oh but man, that's gonna be so weird though. Like, it's first of
Yeah.
all, how do you think we would go crazy just seeing the sheer fact that you could walk down the street, you see no one else, everybody's just you. I think
I wonder how well we would understand each other. Would it be like everyone having more or less the same thoughts, and there would be nothing to talk about because they're like, oh, you know what? And he's like, yeah, I know what.
Yeah, but still, like, essentially, you guys are not the same people anymore. Starting off that moment, because everybody is going to be experiencing things differently, right? And then depending on who's like comforting the other person,
The longer the time goes, the further apart our
more branched out.
lifeline will be. Yeah. You know what I also thought about? I wonder, over time, there will probably appear dialects.
Oh yeah, that would be cool as well. But do you think about? Okay, so first of all, I just want to say that the first time I spoke about this with the other people, it didn't get so sexual. and secondly, don't forget, like, because nobody thought about this when they brought. There are like external wombs. You know, those like plastic bags which you can use to like raise organic beings
I
externally.
thought about it. I didn't mention it yet, but I thought about. We continue. We'll have to like there will be a lot of Dans that are going to be dedicated to learning how we can continue the human race,
Yes.
preferably create a woman.
Yes, I think that'll be necessary because you don't want the human, right?
But
So there's
as
gonna be a lot of Bernies who's gonna have to study, like especially the infrastructure stuff, like construction, maintenance, power plant
Yeah.
maintenance and stuff.
What kind of
I mean,
system would you do?
well, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
would
I
say
think,
communism.
yeah, like, but like the true communism, there is no taking shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like like true communism, because you're gonna fuck yourself over. You take advantage of stuff anyway, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think I'm able to be honest with how I feel. One Bernie is like, okay, guys, I'm feeling really shit and stuff. Like other Bernies who
The
yeah,
other
doesn't
Bernie is
understand.
there with a whip and is like, no work.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so as well.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm about to get sexual again, but you were talking about
go for it.
womb, and I was thinking about CRISPR. I was thinking about genetic modification. And since you
Yeah.
do, well, I mean, if we still have all the genetic information of other people, isn't it possible that you can breed a new version of Dan that has,
Boobs.
capabilities of giving birth, like a vagina?
Wait a minute. I mean, there's gonna be like frozen sperm and frozen eggs. It doesn't have to be genetic material from ourselves.
Ah, okay. Well, then, if you have frozen eggs, then isn't that largely resolved? You could repopulate the Earth with.
Yeah, but how good are you in, as in you can say that you're gonna be able to make it work? Don't forget, yeah, there's only a limited supply of food, and how are you gonna feed that kid?
With other kids. Oh gosh.
No, like what? Like there is no mother's milk. You know what I mean? You got
I mean,
formula.
yeah, you can get formula. Get the ones
You
from.
got animals
Formula
milk.
One.
Yeah, you can get formula milk from China.
I don't know how straightforward it would be. I think there's gonna be a lot of experimentation and failures.
I love
Agree.
that. I love that for you guys. It's the instinct is to survive, and I feel like there's something wrong with me because I feel like why should we survive? Why should I continue? If it's all me, then we can just perish and be.
Yeah, but that isn't that kind of selfish though? You're depriving everybody else. Yeah, you're depriving everybody else the ability or the.
Is it selfish if they're all me?
Yeah, but what about those that come after you?
You shellfish.
I thought everybody turned into you instantly. No.
Yeah, but they still like but those who are alive. So all the frozen eggs, all the frozen sperm, and possible future generations, you know.
This is so
Yeah.
complex because now we are introducing. Okay, so the planet has a lot of you, a lot of carbon copies of you, and then potentially you can make a lot of children from your own genetic material that you combine with other female specimens.
You could, but you got to consider genetic the gene pool. So you kind of want to raise like a whole generation of genetically different uh, humans as well.
I mean, you wouldn't inseminate. Let's say if you have a batch, right? You would not wait, Bernard, wait. I'm confused. Wait. So let's say if you inseminate eggs that are donated by donors, can you grow them entirely in an artificial womb? I thought it was only the beginning.
That's the question. That's the hard part. Like how long is it possible to keep them in there? Like, and can you keep them in the womb until they are able to like eat solid foods? Like how do you provide nutrients to it? What about those people up in space? Like, oh god.
What about what about the all the other Dans or Bernards that are currently being held in slave camps in North Korea?
I mean, technically, you can just walk out, right? Like, come on, guys. Like, fuck.
That's true.
And the other guys with whips, they're like, you
Hmm.
know what? Wait a second.
World peace achieved. But I don't know. Do you think you have the technical know-how to learn everything? Like, do you think so? If everybody
You
became,
don't know, but you don't really have a chance now, do you?
you mean choice?
Yeah, choice. You don't really have a choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Do
be
you still want to
optimistic.
play game?
I'm gonna be optimistic. I feel like if I am empathetic enough, then I would understand what it takes to live in a world where all the carbon copies of me need to take their time to learn all the essential skills. No, I
Yeah.
think. So some of us
Yeah.
would have to die, unfortunately. But
No, you just have to delegate the task. You just have to delegate. All right, you group of Bernies, you go study. You group of Bernies, you go farm. You group of Bernies, you go clean the sewers. You know, like. I mean, like, I think
You go sexually service the other Bernies.
I don't know about that, but like, I think I'm not afraid to do the dirty work. So I think some part of me will be like, all right, fine, we gotta do it. But like, I don't want to keep doing it all the time. Like, at some point, there will be like a rotation system. Where like, all right, you know what? We did our time to.
Yeah, but by that time you're like this worker class Bernie that's been cleaning sewers for 5 years, and then there's Bernies that were like scientists already, and they're like all high class, and they're like, no, I'm not going to clean sewers. You should continue. You're experienced in it, and if I'll go there,
Right.
I'll waste my
Knowledge.
intelligence.
I don't know. I don't know.
Who-
I think. I
Wait.
think I would. I think I would do like service, like some kind of physical labor as well, even as because I think it's necessary. Like maybe while the scientists class are like taking a break from sciencing because they need a break, they can go like work the fields or something, you know.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Who gets to?
The Supreme Commander Bernard has decided that all science people must take a break. And they're like, yay, go work in the fields. And they're like, no.
No, but all this commanding, who gets to lead and who listens, and how do you discern the leading nod from?
Look. I think I don't think the original matters, like who's original or who's not. I think for me, because I think right now it's a lot of hypotheticals, right? It's a lot of I'm not sure, but I think I'm somebody who's able to lead, and I think I'm also somebody who's able to just be led, especially if the person who's leading knows their shit. I have a problem when the person leading me is incompetent, but in such a situation, I think I would understand like for some particular fields, I am not competent in it, but there will be one who will just like, all right, you know what? I'll take a step forward. I'll take on the burden of leadership and then start delegating and stuff. And then the other people will be like, okay. But I think the most hardest part is like during the like right after the transition when all the shit's going down, like the planes crashing and shit. There's gonna be like a moment where we have to come to reality with the situation, you know, like okay guys, sit down. Let's all sit down because if we stand up we might have a panic. Like, you remember that fucked up hypothetical we spoke about a long time ago? And then I think this is it. You're me, right? What's your name, Bernie? What's the last thing? Like, I was just chilling, man. You know, I think there's gonna be like that moment where you're gonna have to like, okay, we need to calm down. We need to organize. We need to know what we gotta do. What's important, right? Where the fuck, you know?
Okay,
The
well,
medicine.
But all right, as you said, some burnouts would have to take a step forward and then take one for the team and take on a task that he's not prepared for. But then the other burnouts that he has to lead would then see the incompetence in him. Wouldn't there be a revolt?
I think I'm the kind of person who's able to talk about an issue first without going to such extremes.
I just feel like there would be so much incompetence because our abilities are very limited. That
Yes.
necessarily you need to be a person who's okay with incompetence. But being
but
okay with
we
incompetence.
are also understanding of the situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are also understanding that this is an impossible task, but at least we are trying.
Yes.
And how would you fare if you are one of the Bernards and you see other Bernards dying because of incompetence and you feel like you could do better? Would you kill the leading Bernard, usurp the position and take over?
I think we will be able to have a democratic discussion about it before we proceed the Silly Act.
The killing.
Yeah, I think though, if we talk, I think though, I think though that we before we do something like where we know people like copies of me we will die. Like I think we will have a talk about those who will die. We'll have like a moment to come to the facts that they know that they will die. But I don't think if we have I think if we don't have a choice and it has to be done, fuck you don't really have a choice. Like, don't do it, more copies die.
I don't know if I have such confidence in myself being, peaceful and democratic. I feel like it's so easy for us to go feral. And it's
I don't, like I said, I don't know, right? I'm sure there's gonna be some will break. I'm sure there will be some people who will break, and I'm hoping that the other means will be able to support him. Jesus, what a weird way to talk about it.
yeah. Oh man. I don't know. This is the scope of this hypothetical is so big. It's difficult.
Yeah,
It's very
it's really big. Yeah, but I think I like to trust in me.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I like to trust in me, and at least we'll try our best, even if everything comes crashing down. I hope the me's can look at each other just like, hey man, we tried our best.
But how can you be sure that they would all share the same feeling that
Because they're me.
No, but some of you tried your best, not all of you. Some of you.
No, but I know me, and I know I would have tried. I wouldn't have given up, especially when I know the other people's are me's.
But
Why would I give up on myself?
No, but what if some of you did something in a certain way, whilst the yous being led believed they could do it slightly better in their way? And they never got to try because there are only so many leading positions. They never got to try, and some of
they would understand that they're all me. So the fact that one of us have these kind of feeling, for sure, that means the other have these kind of feelings too. You know, it's because you you are you.
Yeah.
And if it comes to the point where it's like, okay, this is fucking stupid, I can do it so much better, I know that they will speak up and talk about it.
But then Amy is trying to sow the seed of
discontent and
yes.
No, I just feel like
I know what you mean. No, really, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I believe in myself. I think this is just generally how you approach like conflicts and stuff. I believe in myself that if a situation arises, for example, like I have a lot of these talks with my partner where we speak a lot. I think we have a really good communication. I that's what I really appreciate her for. If there's something that don't sit right with me, I will talk to her about it. And if something that doesn't sit right with her, she will talk to me about it. I mean, I realized that she's more direct, and I try to like, okay, I try to like lay it out, and she often tells me like, you don't have to lay it out, you just have to say it how you feel.
Use the most brutal words you can find.
Of course, I would never, but like that's what she's saying. Like,
Preferably a lot of insults and swearing.
no, that's for.
Yeah, here's an
I get
interesting.
what you mean, then I get what you mean, but yeah, for me it's like there's
Well,
no need for that.
What about this proposal then? Like, instead of the entire world changing into you, the entire world becomes your partner, and you are the only burnout that exists, and everybody else is your partner.
Whoa, that's a hypothetical I haven't thought of.
Can you deal with that? Like everyone else, just like, is your partner still special if everybody becomes her?
Yeah, but that's the problem. They're all hers, right? And they in their perspective, they are all my partners.
How do they share you if there's only one of you and 7 billion of
massive-
them?
One
Yeah,
massive.
but
What's the name?
that's the thing.
Garem, right?
No,
harem. This is not a harem that we're talking about, because it's 7 billion of of your partner, and there's only one
yeah, but
of
the
you.
problem is, right, like how far does the information spread that I'm also still alive and it's not
They
just
have a
them,
they have
right?
they have a UI where the only part of the UI is the beacon that shows where you are.
Yes. Okay. But still, that's I feel like that's situation because it's if it's all used, then at least like it's you, I feel like if suddenly it's partners of you, I don't, then I don't know, man. It's a moral, there's the moral dilemma, I feel like.
I feel like
That episode we should there should be. Too bad we don't have guests here. We should have our partners as guests for this episode or something like that.
Oh my god, that would be an interesting discussion.
it'd be interesting for you. I don't have a partner.
Maybe one day when you have your partner, we can ask him the same question.
It'll be a long time from now.
You don't know that. I didn't expect to find a partner this year or at the end of last year.
Aw, it's that sweet. Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, in any case, I feel like we haven't even talked about some of the most obvious things. For instance, I can only confidently operate in Mandarin and English. The versions of me that pop up in freaking Russia, the whole place is going to collapse. I don't read it. I don't know the language.
Oh fuck.
Right?
You're
Like,
right.
so a big majority of the world would just collapse. They would all die. It's not the right language.
Yeah, well, but maybe you can try to, if you can
Translate.
find out where you are, and try to like logistically pull the supplies. Like you take out all the food, you start making your way to like put it into the cars and start making your way like westward. I mean,
I guess in many ways, a lot of stuff has English as well as the second
Yeah.
language in the description and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess not always, but
I think there's gonna be a lot of parts of the world that will die out. Fuck.
I would be
Yeah.
immediately drawn to finding out what would happen on. Do you guys know about Sentinel Island?
No.
oh yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's that island, west or north. I forgot where, but it's close to India. But it's one of the most hostile, primitive human beings. They annihilate everyone that visits the island. It's you've seen that picture. It's the famous picture of these men throwing spears at helicopters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's Sentinel Island. Can you imagine like all those people just become versions of you? Would they wouldn't make it, would they?
But I also think like when the parts of the world, the nuclear power plants like blow up, right? Overload. like how much radiation will be in the skies and shit. Like how far will it go?
Oh man,
Yeah.
it'll spill over. Everything we talk about now just feels like such great material for a Black Mirror episode.
Maybe.
That would
Hopefully.
that would be a
I don't know,
challenge for,
yeah.
for the writers, man. This is very challenging. This is so much to think about.
Well, there's this German book. I don't know if they have it in English, but it's called Blackout, and it's talking about how Europe will be like a very realistic take on what would happen if all electricity shuts down, like the whole grid in the whole of Europe, and it's not very pleasant. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm at the start where it's like people going feral and shit. Okay, maybe feral is the wrong word, but they're turning into like savages.
You know, this
Like
is a fun
society.
question to ask. Okay, right. If there is a global blackout among the, we stand to potentially piss off so many countries. But which European nation do you think would thrive, and which European nations do you think would just collapse instantly?
I think maybe I'm stupid for thinking it like this, but I think the less developed nations that are already used to not having stuff would thrive more than the ones that are already more developed
Yeah,
to
I'm inclined to agree.
luxury.
Makes sense. And I
Yeah.
would say maybe also countries that are don't have that much populations and are, for example, more isolated. Something like Iceland, I guess,
Hmm.
because I don't know. I kind of feel like they will be more organized and more unified, or something like Finland, even maybe.
I feel like there's.
So maybe it's a good thing global warming is happening.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
We don't want to be too contentious here. We'll get censored.
Oh,
I
oh
wonder
boy.
how that
I
would.
just
I wonder how the UK would fare in a global blackout. Oh wait, no, we were talking about European nations. Sorry, not.
oh, he did that. He went there.
No,
Ay,
no,
ay, ay.
nah. But I, I, I feel like for the both of you, you guys are like turning your brain towards, how do we keep it going? How do we survive? How do we, keep pushing? Whereas I feel
Yeah.
like such a, if you're an artistic cunt who is as pretentious as I am and as romantic as I am, I would struggle to find the reason to continue. If everybody's just me, what's the point of living? Like,
I
don't
know
we
what you mean.
live?
I don't know. For now, I feel like I would continue, but I imagine how that could
At,
be
at
something
some
that
point,
could
yeah.
change.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like
It feels like
I think it's also I think maybe this question also reflects a part of us, a part of our mentality
Mhm.
Yeah.
and and where we stand, how we think right now. So maybe Jamie, maybe I need to ask you, are you okay? How are you, man?
No boy. uh Uh, no, I just feel like if everybody becomes me, then us human beings, we live for others, we live for our society. We're social creatures. If everybody becomes me, can we still continue that society? Is there a point?
Well, that's why you want to try to keep fighting and finding a way to proceed and make all these artificial babies and stuff, right?
Yeah, I guess the hope is that eventually after a few generations, you become different enough. So
Yeah, because it's like Dan said earlier, mentioned like the more time goes on, like the more separate each individual will be.
but that's kind of sad. You would only live long enough to see maybe a maximum of 3 generations.
And you also have to think like we're all the same age. So unless we kickstart the next generation somehow, like there's a time limit.
That's true. That's true.
There is a time limit. So you don't really have time to like you don't have a lot of time. You gotta make sure things are going and things are working.
This question is just making me really curious. Like, are there any serious answers? Like, the one that we did with 100 soldiers versus one gorilla. Are there actual, like, maybe demographers or statisticians or someone out there like really crunching the numbers? Like, what's the actual strat? What's the optimized strat to do if this were to ever happen?
Or
Probably there are.
probably, yeah.
Oh, we need to do an episode where, whenever we have a hypothetical, we should have a follow-up episode or something where we look at other people's answers and we just feel like, okay, so that's what you could do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. I guess, yeah, hopefully, hopefully we'll have
Hopefully,
less.
spark some thoughts in your head.
Yeah, I was thinking that I don't know. We should tackle less difficult hypotheticals next time. This is so complex. I keep thinking about what I could do. But
It's
yeah,
complex, isn't it? But I think it's an interesting discussion to have as well, though.
indeed. It's what's the word? It's a brain not teaser. What's the word? Not tear jerker, but a brain. It's a mind fuck, really. You know what? We should ask other people the same question and then reconvene next week to see if we have any fun answers. Just like a intro for the next episode.
All right.
Oof. Interesting question.
I know.
I guess I can ask around a bit.
Yeah, you have so many people to ask.
I don't know how serious their answers will be, but
I'm gonna ask your father. That's gonna be fun.
yeah.
Right. Should we conclude today's episode then? It's about the 1 hour mark. Right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and as per usual, feel free to check us out on Spotify, support us on Patreon, or leave a comment, and all that good stuff. I wish people could ask us questions. That would be fun to do like a Q&A.
Like a live one, yeah.
Oh, eventually we'll do the podcast live. We'll do it live.
Oh.
All right. Well, take care, guys, and yeah, goodbye.
Have a good one. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye,